Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear Ritesh Prabhu, and Hari Bol to all the devotees who led the chanting this morning. Let's start with Mangalacharan. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatade Shatarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, Pranam, Jai Shri Prabhupada. Okay, so we'll continue with our prayer this most auspicious week of Shri Krishna Janmashtami. We are singing Chaurashtakam by Srila Bilvamangal Thakur. Anybody would like to sing today?
Yes, Prabhuji. I will try, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Bol. Yes, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. रजे प्रसीद्धं नवनीतचोरं गोपाङ्गनानां च दुःखूलचोरम् अनेकजन्मार्जितपापचोरं चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि क्षीरादिकाया हृदयस्य चोरं नवाम्बुदश्यामलाकान्तिचोरम् पादाश्रितानां च समस्तचोरं चौराग्रगण्यं पुरुषं नमामि अकिञ्चनाकृत्य पादाश्रितां या करोति भिक्षुं पतिगेहहीनं केनापि याहो विषणचौरयेद्रिक् दृष्टा श्रुतो वा न जगत्त्रयापि यादीयनामापि हरति यशेषं गिरिप्रसारानपि पापराशिन् आश्चर्यरूपो ननु चोरयेत्रे दृष्टा श्रुतो वा न माया कदापि दानं च मानं च ततेन्द्रियाणि प्राणं च हृत्वा मम सर्व एवं पालायसे कुत्र धृतोऽध्यचौरा त्वं भक्तिधाम्नासि माया निरुद्धा छिन्नात्सि घोरं यमपाशबन्धं भिन्नात्सि भीमं भवपाशबन्धं छिन्नात्सि सर्वस्य समस्तबन्धं नवात्मनो भक्तकृतां तु बन्धं मन्मानसे तामसाराशि घोरे कारागृहे दुःखमाया निबद्धा लाभस्वहे चौरहरे चिराये स्वचौर्यदोषाचितामेव दण्डम् कारागृहे वस सदा हृदयामवीये मद्भक्तिपाशा निश्चलाशन् त्वं कृष्ण हे प्रलयकोटिशतान्तरेऽपि सर्वस्वचौराहृदयान्न हि मोचयामि हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे चौराष्टकम की जय बिल्व मंगल ठाकुर की जय थैंक यू प्रभु जी फॉर गिविंग मी एन
Ki
अपॉर्चुनिटी
Jai. Shama Karuna Mataji Ki Jai. Thank you,
नो
Mataji.
नो
Hare Krishna. Okay, anybody would like to read the translation? All right.
I can only read प्रभु जी
You can read. Yes, Mataji, please. Go ahead.
I offered my respectful obeisances to that foremost of thieves who is famous in Braja as the butter thief, and he who steals the gopis' clothes, and who, for those who take shelter of him, steals the sins which have accrued over many lifetimes. I offer my respectful obeisances to the foremost of thieves who steals Srimati Radhika's heart, who steals the dark luster of a fresh rain cloud, and who steals all the sins and sufferings of those who take shelter of his feet. He turns his surrendered devotees into paupers and wandering homeless beggar. Alas, such a fearsome thief has never been seen or heard of in all the three worlds. Mere utterance of his name purges one of a mountain of sins. Such an astonishingly wonderful thief I have never seen or heard of anywhere. O thief, having stolen my wealth, my honor, my senses, my life, and my everything, where can you run to? I have caught you with the rope of my devotion. You cut the terrible noose of Yamaraja. You sever the dreadful noose of material existence and you slash everyone's material bondage. But you are unable to cut the knot fastened by your own loving devotees. O stealer of my everything, O thief, today I have imprisoned you in the miserable prison house of my heart, which is very fearful due to the terrible darkness of my ignorance, and there for a very long time you will remain, receiving appropriate punishment for your crimes of thievery. O Krishna, thief of my everything, the noose of my devotion, remaining forever tied, you will continue to reside in the prison house of my heart because I will not release you for millions of aeons. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. This is my favorite Astakam Prabhuji. So nice it is. Thank you for giving me an opportunity, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Yes, thank you, Mataji. Yes, it should be favorite. One of the many favorites. Krishna has unlimited names, unlimited pastimes, unlimited glories, unlimited ashtakams. Yes, and so all of those are so dear. But of course, yes, like we say, we should have one Ishtadev, one deity, one form of deity that we meditate on. Of course, out of the unlimited millions that Krishna has expanded into. But of course, the primary three deities, the primary three energies of the Lord are Sat, Chaitanya, Anand, Sandini, Sambit, and Ladini, right? Balaramji, Krishna himself, and Srimati Radharani. So yeah, last night I was thinking of sending the communication for Janmashtami. So I was thinking, the August month itself, if you see, A stands for anger, UG stands for unlimited greed, and lust, UST for lust. Like we can see anger in everybody, right? It's very evident, and we can see the greed also. It's very evident, but lust is kind of very subtle. It's hidden, calm. It's something internal. Really, nobody else can see. Only I can see what I have in my heart, or only the Lord can see. So like that, this month is full of the three gates of hell: Kam, Krodha, Lobh, August, anger, unlimited greed, and lust. But Krishna, so mercifully, he descends into our hearts as Sri Balaram to clean up those anarthas. And then Krishna himself is coming this week. And then Srimati Radharani is also going to come next. So all three primary energies of the Lord are descending in this month to clean up these three gateways of hell or anarthas in our hearts. So we are blessed that we are able to read and sing these wonderful prayers composed by our acharyas. Hari Hari Bol. Okay, so let's continue. Srila Prabhupada Lilamrit. We are continuing chapter 32. Prabhupada has arrived in India, and this is the dancing white elephants, his disciples. He had about 10 disciples from America who are serving as his instruments, just as the Lord is the supreme and we are all his part and parcels. Similarly, Sri Guru is the supreme, and as disciples we serve our Guru Maharaj to become his instruments. So that is what they are sincerely trying to do, and Prabhupada is continuing to preach the movement of Krishna consciousness now in India. We remember 67, 68 when we were reading a few weeks ago or months ago, when Prabhupada had come to India, there was hardly anybody to receive him. but now, and he's almost 75 years of age, and still he's looking as fresh as the Tilak of Vrindavan, right? So he's so fresh. Like when Krishna, he's fought the battle of Kurukshetra, even though he's 120 plus years, but he was always fresh, like a 16 to 20-year-old boy. Like that, Prabhupada is fresh, even 75. Okay, so let's continue. Prabhupada is continuing to preach in full glory without getting tired. His audiences are getting tired and leaving or excusing. But at the age of 75, he is so strong that he is continuing day and night. Only in the afternoon for some nap, he is taking a nap after lunch. But after that, he is continuing. Okay, anybody would like to read today? His audience is varied.
I can read, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Yes, Shuchita Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna. His audience is varied. Sometimes he would speak to a room of husbands and wives, all cultured and well-dressed, and sometimes he would speak to one lone old man. Sometimes his audience listened quietly, or argued, or even when appreciating, showed their misunderstanding. Sometimes a guest would ask him why he criticized Bengal's reputed saints and politicians, and he would explain on the basis of Bhagavad Gita that the real sadhu always glorifies Krishna. Prabhuji, shall I continue or?
Yes, Mataji, continue. We can at least until 6:26, 6:27 we can read. Yeah.
Okay. Prabhupada often related his preaching to events of particular interest to his audience, such as Calcutta's political unrest or the downfall of Vedic culture. Yet, his concern for local affairs was only the practical necessity of the moment, for he was beyond India. He was thinking of people, places, and activities all around the world. In answering his letters, he would deeply ponder matters in England, Australia, Hawaii, or New Vrindavan. And beyond this, he would always be thinking of Krishna. He wanted to glorify Krishna throughout the world. India happened to be his present field. The devotees in India had the privilege of closely observing Prabhupada in his preaching. His superior tolerance and kindness both inspired them and, by contrast, exposed to them their own inadequacies. As newcomers to India, the devotees were still greatly involved with the practical affairs of living in Calcutta. Weather, disease, and culture shock distracted their minds from Krishna consciousness. But Prabhupada's presence, his preaching, and his example reminded them that reality was beyond the body. Sometimes the devotees criticized certain of Prabhupada's visitors. They met Indians who sat with Prabhupada and presented a facade of godliness, but who later smoked cigarettes and showed other signs of low character. Once a group of devotees complained to Prabhupada about these hypocritical Indians, but Prabhupada told them the story of the bee and the fly. The bee, he explained, always looks for honey, and the fly for a nasty sore or infection. The devotee should be like the honey bee and see the good in others, not like the fly looking for the faults. Prabhupada's disciples discovered that the best way to learn to live in India was to follow exactly what Prabhupada did. When taking prasadam with him at someone's home, they would eat the same foods as he, and in the same order. When he would finish, they would finish, and when he would wash his hands, they would wash. Life in India was strange, even bewildering, and Prabhupada's disciples did not have Prabhupada's vision of his mission in India, but they were following him like little ducks wherever he went. As the devotees came closer to Prabhupada and witnessed more of his unique qualities, they came to love him more than ever. Sitting in his room on a white cushion and leaning back on the white bolster, Prabhupada appeared golden-hued and regal, despite his simple surroundings. The devotees could see that he was unaffected by his surroundings. Whether in Los Angeles, whether he had lived comfortably amid opulence, or in Calcutta, he was at home in India, but he was not just another Indian, not even just another Indian sadhu. He was unique and he was theirs. From Prabhupada's first day in Calcutta, he thought of going to Mayapur, the sacred birthplace of Lord Chaitanya. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, father of Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master and pioneer in spreading Lord Chaitanya's teachings beyond India, had longed for the day when Americans and Europeans would join with their Bengali brothers in Mayapur, chanting the holy names. Prabhupada wanted to purchase land, establish a Mayapur center for his Western disciples, and fulfill the dream of his spiritual predecessors. He had written one of his god brothers. I wish to go to Mayapur to pay my respects to our beloved spiritual master, His Divine Grace Sri Srila Prabhupada, as well as to complete the purchase of the land. So if Jagmohan Prabhu will accompany us to finish this transaction, it will be very kind of him, and I hope you will kindly request him to accompany us. The followers of Lord Chaitanya accept Mayapur, 110 miles north of Calcutta, to be identical with Vrindavana. 5,000 years ago, Lord Krishna lived in Vrindavan, performing his childhood pastimes, and 500 years ago, Lord Krishna appeared in Mayapur as Lord Chaitanya. For the Gaudiya Vaishnavas, therefore, Mayapur and Vrindavan are the two most dear and sacred places on earth. What better place for ISKCON to have its world's headquarters than in Mayapur? But despite various attempts over the past several years, Srila Prabhupada had still not acquired property there. He had gone to Mayapur with Achyutananda in 1967, seen a plot of land, and asked Achyutananda to try and get it. But Achyutananda and Muhammadan owner had never reached an agreement. Some of Prabhupada's godbrothers had temples and property in Mayapur, but they wouldn't help. Some even seemed to be working against him. When Prabhupada had written one of his godbrothers in Mayapur, asking him to help Achyutananda secure land, the godbrother secretary had replied that he was unable to do so. The secretary had remarked, "One must be very fortunate to get land in Mayapur." Prabhupada criticized his godbrother's uncooperative spirit. He was becoming impatient. "Why are we not able to get a land in Mayapur?" he asked his disciples. "This is dragging on for 300 years. Again, he wrote to one of his godbrothers. Regarding propagating the name of Sri Mayapur as birthplace of Lord Chaitanya, it is going on regularly in our different literatures and books. If you kindly take the trouble of coming here conveniently, I can show you how we are giving publicity to the birth site of Lord Chaitanya. Perhaps you know that I begged from His Holiness Shripad Tirtha Maharaj a little piece of land at Mayapur for constructing a home for my Western disciples, but he refused the proposal. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur wanted that the American and European devotees would come to Mayapur, and the prophecy is now fulfilled. Unfortunately, they are loitering in the streets of Calcutta without having a suitable place at Mayapur. Do you think it is all right? Accompanied by a small party of men, Prabhupada took the train to Navadvipa, just across the Ganges from Mayapur. There they were met by members of the Devananda Math. Riding in rickshaws to the Devananda Math, the devotees were charmed by the rural atmosphere of Navadvipa. Everything was lush from the rainy season, and the devotees found the romantic expectations of India now being fulfilled as they proceeded along roads lined with tropical vegetation. At the Devananda Math Prabhupada and his disciples were given special prasadam and good accommodations. Then the rains returned. Day after day, the rains came, and the Ganges rose higher and higher, until crossing the swift river into Mayapur became impossible. Since the rains were not likely to abate soon, Prabhupada decided to leave. He and his disciples boarded an early morning train to Calcutta. The tracks were flooded. Repeatedly, the train had to stop, once for more than 8 hours. The heat and the crowds of passengers constantly passing through the car made the wait torturous for the devotees. Prabhupada asked one of his disciples to take a rickshaw and try to arrange better transportation. Nothing was available. At last, the train continued toward Calcutta, only to stop at the next station, where all the passengers changed to another train. Finally, Prabhupada reached Calcutta and Mr. Das Gupta's home. Maybe Lord Chaitanya does not want us to establish our headquarters in Mayapur, Prabhupada said. The two purposes in his mind, establishing a place in Calcutta and purchasing land in Mayapur, he had not accomplished. Prabhupada continued holding programs in people's home and talking with guests in his room. One day, Mr. Dandharia visited Prabhupada and mentioned Bombay's upcoming Sadhu Samaj, a gathering of the most important sadhus in India. It was to be held at Chowpatty Beach and promised to be a big affair. Mr. Dandharia requested Prabhupada to attend, and Prabhupada accepted. Bombay, October 1970. Responding to Srila Prabhupada's request for more disciples to join him in India, a group of 20 American devotees traveled to Brussels and took an inexpensive flight aboard a propeller-driven craft to Bombay. At the airport, while the devotees were wondering where they should go, Mr. Kailash Seksharia, a wealthy Bombay businessman and nephew of Mr. Dandharia, approached them with a letter from Prabhupada. Mr. Seksharia had arranged for several cars and he escorted the devotees to his home in an affluent Bombay residential area on Marine Drive. He fed them and provided them with living quarters. 2 days later, a telegram arrived informing the devotees and their host that Prabhupada would be arriving the next day. Prabhupada arrived at the Bombay airport and after an enthusiastic reception, rode with Mr. Seksharia to his home. Marine Drive runs along the seashore, and the houses lining it belong to the very rich. Mr. Seksharia's residence was 7 stories, and he offered Srila Prabhupada the first floor, with its large rooms overlooking the Arabian Sea. Bombay, Prabhupada said, was India's most materialistic city. It was the nation's movie capital and the city where more than in any other Indian city, people wore Western dress. The gateway to India, it boasted the most industries, the most businesses, and the most billboards. It was a cosmopolitan melting pot of cultures and religions, but had none of the Naxalite terrorism of Calcutta or the heavy political atmosphere of New Delhi. Nor did it have the aristocratic families who worship Lord Chaitanya and its Sankirtana movement. But it had its own advantages for preaching, Prabhupada said. It was a city of wealth with many pious citizens who were intelligent and quick to adopt a good idea. He predicted Bombay would be a favorable city for Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada's first Bombay preaching engagement was at gathering of sadhus, a pandal in an open field just a few blocks from Mr. Seksharia's home. Prabhupada's disciples had also been invited, and they arrived several hours before Prabhupada. The array of Indian sadhus sitting on stage in long rows startled the devotees. Some of the sadhus were bearded, some shaven-headed, some with long matted hair and holding tridents, some covered with ashes, some adorned with beads and clay markings. The devotees were amazed, and many of the sadhus, on seeing the white-skinned Vaishnavas, were also amazed. When the devotees came on stage and began their kirtana, the audience responded by clapping in rhythm and chanting. Afterward, on the advice of Mr. Seksharia, the devotees took their kirtana out into the streets, and many in the audience followed. That evening, the devotees returned to the pandal with Prabhupada. Prabhupada sat on a raised platform, and his disciples sat at his feet. After having 3 of his disciples speak in English, Prabhupada spoke in Hindi, while the audience of more than 500 listened silently. After his lecture, he came down from the platform, and a crowd gathered around him, touching his feet and following him to his car. When Prabhupada heard from his disciples and their spontaneous kirtana through the streets of Bombay, he said they should go to the busiest bazaars and chant daily. So they did. wherever large numbers of people gathered, the devotees would go and chant. They were strong, youthful, exuberant, and faithful, and they would chant in the streets for 3 or 4 hours each day. Prabhuji, shall I continue reading? 627.
Yeah, I think we can pause here. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Shikha.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Wonderfully you read. Yes, thank you. Anything that you liked from today's reading? Any comments? Anybody else?
I have been reading Prabhuji Bhagavad Gita and the Krishna book with other devotees in Omaha. I recently moved to Cincinnati, and I always wanted to read Srila Prabhupada's Leelamrita. So I'm just feeling very happy within when I'm reading it.
Hare Krishna. Wonderful. Welcome to Cincinnati. Have you come to our center already, Mataji?
Not yet, Prabhuji. I will probably send a message on the group that if somebody is living around my area, I would love to join on Janmashtami.
Where are you residing?
I reside close to the university at the Heights apartment on the MLK Drive area.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, we can connect. If you can message me, Mataji, we can certainly arrange. I think there are a lot of students who come from the downtown area.
Okay.
We have transportation arrangements. We have a separate group for them, so there you can get ride.
Yes, that would be really nice. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much. Yes, and welcome once again. You come with the most auspicious time of Janmashtami, so Krishna has some plans for you. Hare Krishna. Okay. Anybody else would like to share anything from today's reading? Anything that touched your heart? One thing I was thinking as you were reading, again, the simplicity, right? So, like the devotees, the disciples of Prabhupada who had come from America, I remember yesterday when we were reading, Prabhupada was in a funny way. He was telling Tamal Krishna, so Tamal Krishna, how do you like this driving? Because the car was going, the driver was driving the car, and it was it was like cultural shock for them because they had never seen like cows and on the streets and 2-wheelers, 3-wheelers, 4-wheelers, everybody sharing the same road. Here we have everything is driven in a particular lane, and there the life is so much chaos, but still there is harmony. But anyway, so then they reached Calcutta yesterday. They were like in a cultural shock, and today as they went to Mayapur, they really felt a bliss in their heart. They could see the simplicity of the rural life, the rural village life, and that also shows kind of how like when we see these big downtowns and big cities around the world, it is kind of that you have that initially you have that kind of mood of awe and appreciation of so much of advancement, science, technology, everything. But really, when we actually go back to our roots, we get the sense of the pure love, or the purity of the simplicity we feel, we experience. So similarly, I think Krishna consciousness also, initially we have that mood of awe and reverence towards the Lord, but as we keep continuing our bhakti, continuing to follow the guidelines and instructions of our Guru, Parampara, and continue to chant the holy names offenselessly, and slowly we start advancing, and the Lord in our hearts, He is there to see and to respond and to reciprocate, and we develop more loving relationships. So that which is the core, which is the ultimate, developing the ultimate loving relationship with the Lord is the supermost thing. So yeah, the love is not in the cities, but the love is in the villages, and I think Prabhupada's disciples are experiencing that in Mayapur. Hare Krishna. Okay, anything else anybody would like to share? Aarti Mataji, Pavan Prabhuji, would love to hear from you. Okay, maybe busy with schools and preparations. So all right, so And at 6:32. So if there is nothing else, Pawan Prabhuji, you want to share something?
No, Prabhuji, everything is good, Prabhuji. Thank you for hosting the program. So nice.
Thank you. So nice. Always you're there first in the morning to chant japa, and so enthusiastically you're inspiring all of us. So thank you for your kind inspiration and mood to serve the Lord through the holy name every morning. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Pawan
Hare
Prabhuji. Okay, thank you, dear devotees. We'll end here and we'll see you all tomorrow. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai. Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srila Prabhupada Leelamrit ki jai. Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.